Yeah. So there was an interruption, there was a problem, and that gave you an opportunity to have some fun and make a joke and kind of laugh. So it's fine. So problems are welcome. So there you go. That's me. So as I said, this slide is not meant to kind of say what all I do. So I at least pretend to, if not solve others' problems, and that's why I am there. And that's why my job is, and that's what everybody's job is. Whatever job you do, you're solving someone's problem for sure. As I said, the joy is more, or the joy is there only if there is something which you have done, which you have solved something. That's why I said kids and puzzles, and you see the happiness in their face once they finish the puzzle. It's beautiful. And that happens to us too, right? I mean, you have something and you don't know what to do, and then one fine day you find out, oh my god, this is the way to go about it, and then the joy is much, much, much more. Or rather, there is no joy if you don't have a problem and if you solve it. As simple as that. So with that, what's a problem? What do you mean by that? What's your problem? I mean, there's a very often asked question like, I'm happy, I'm not happy, I'm this, I'm that. I don't feel like doing this, I don't feel like doing that. I'm going to stick to individuals and humanitarian grounds and not get into the business part. Business, as I said, sometimes problems are created so that they say there is a solution and you pay me for it. So we'll just stick to what happens generally is, yeah. So what's your problem? How do I know what's my problem or what is others' problem? Or, let's be careful about it. We're talking about our problem, my area of concern, and that's not your problem, right? It's a fact. Your problem is not my problem. Maybe your problem is fun for me, and my problem is fun for you, and it's exciting for you, and it could be not a problem for somebody else. It could be a cakewalk for someone else. I don't know. I mean, sometimes when you talk to people, they say, okay, nay, I didn't want to tell you about my problem because I was listening to your problems. I mean, you don't know. My problem is much bigger than, no, let's look at my area of concern and how do I go about it. Yeah. And if each one solves it, that's fine. That's what life is all about. You got to move on. Oh, yes, I am going to be a person who is going to be solving others' problems. Fine enough. You could do that. And that's your way of looking at it. Go ahead, fine. Then there is a very specific way and method to do it. So this, hopefully I will share a few ways in which first you can take care of yourself and then you take care of her. Again, most of the time you take care of yourself, the rest takes care generally. What is it like? Why do we say it's a problem? I want something, I need something. Okay. And if I have it, then this is what it is going to. But somewhere there is an obstacle in between, or there is a problem in between. I'm not able to reach where I want to. So that is a problem. I need to find out what is that problem. I need to know what are the causes of this problem. I need to know what is the one which is triggering either the problem or my goal. Should I kind of, sometimes it happens, triggers, right? You're perfectly fine and someone says something, or you come across something like you watch a news and then you say there is so much of, kind of humanitarian disaster which happens around, and the whole day you're like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. Something happened to you, correct? So something triggered you, correct? So despite the fact probably that specific day you might have decided that I'm going to do this, 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 and I'm going to make myself good, my family feel happy, but something happened from outside and then it triggered you and you're not happy. Hacks and workarounds. We are talking about it. There are enough examples which are being put out. There are some events which are done by or with malicious intent, and that's probably leading to the impact, and that becomes a problem. So this is overall generally how it goes, whether you're trying to do an organizational issue or an individual issue or a functional issue or a whole company per se. This is what it is. Find out what is the problem first. Yes, what will it impact? Why it's a problem? Because it is going to impact. What is it going to impact? It is going to impact your goal, impact what you want. Say, for example, I don't want anything, correct? Living in nothing. If I don't want anything, then nothing is a problem. If you as an individual say, no, I don't want anything. Oh, do you need something? Yes, I need something. I have what my need. Oh my God, goodness me, then there is no problem you have in life. No, but I want to have this. I want to go here. Okay, the moment that starts, you have to do something to reach where you want to be, isn't it? So you're here, current state. I shouldn't have called it an ideal state. I should have called it a desired state. So you are in one state, whatever it is. You are there at one place. It could be an individual, it could be a group, it could be a society, it could be a country, it could be an organization, it could be a functional group in an organization, whatever. You are at a state and you want to get to a desired state, then there is a gap, which means there is a problem to be solved. So problems are fun. Problems are not something which you need to work away with. If you want to move ahead, you have to solve something to move ahead. You have to overcome something. I need to go from point A to point B. Yes, that will be a problem because I need to find out a means of transport. I need to spend some time. I need to spend some money. So you call it a problem? Yeah, it is a problem. So every gap which exists between what you want and where you want to be naturally is a problem which needs to be solved. And it is absolute fun and it pays you well if you are in the right place and solving the right problems too. Okay, I mean, I structure it like this. So you have something which is called a problem. Now, what do? I need a solution. Now, how do I go about the solution? You got to think about it, right? You're thinking as an individual, you think collectively, you seek suggestions, you seek an expert's advice, you seek whatever. But you got to think about it and then come up with a solution. Straight as that, problem is simple as nothing but as a gap between something which we want and where we are. Or for an organization, it is a gap between what they desire to be and what they are at the given moment. So they need to work out at a solution for it. There are broadly two forms of thinking. This cuts across. This is for all. As I said, just because as an individual we wear a professional coat of any profession, this does not change. Meaning to say, you could be a finance person, you could be a project person, you could be a business development person, you could be an IT architect, you could be a solution architect, or you could be a worker, or you could be a labor, whatever it is. You will have a problem to be solved. And for that, you got to think. There are two forms, as I said, divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Convergent is pretty simple, which is like, I'm not going to say which is right, which is wrong, what is good, what is not good, but these are different kinds of thinking processes. So let's not say, oh my God, I'm convergent, I got to become divergent. No, I'm divergent, I got to become neutral. Nothing. Convergent thinking is absolutely using logics, facts, fact sheets. You know, you have sheets, you have Excel sheets, you have all these scientific evidence-based methods for knowing what is what. It could be who, it could be how, it could be why, it could be when. Questions, right? Imagine, that's most of the questions are normally asked by home children between the age of 0 to 6. Why this, how this, who is that, what that, when this, what is it? Isn't it? And they are asking, why? Because they are solving problems in their minds. They are solving. Every time you are able to answer and you give an answer, could be right, could be wrong, they are making an attempt to solve the questions which they have there in their mind. And for a kid, that's a problem. I'm saying something that as a kid, if you're watching something, you don't know what it is, you ask a question. So one is convergent thinking, and divergent thinking is absolutely using your imagination, right? Have you not heard of a kid thinking, why can't I go to the moon? Why can't I fly in the sky? Why can't I fly like a bird? Isn't it? Our logical mind is going to say, no, you got to have this, you got to have this. It's not possible to fly because you just got two limbs and then wings are required to fly and whatnot. Fine. Had the ones, had people always been just looking at facts and figures and ways and methods and not being able to think divergently, we would not have progressed as a society. We would not have progressed as a race. We would not have progressed as human civilization. Out of the box. I mean, in any group you can find this. Even during the question sessions, I don't want to mention name. There are some individuals who come out with like absolutely logical questions and logical thought process. Perfectly fine. Someone who comes with, we call it as like outrageous thinking, oh my God, wish thinking or wishful thinking, which is divergent thinking. And there is something which is completely out of the box thinking. What we say is called as lateral thinking. So divergent thinking predominantly is, you can also call it as a creative thinking or an horizontal thinking. Convergent thinking is also can be called as a vertical thinking or critical thinking. And the lateral thinking basically is one who can be creative and logical, or logical and also be creative, have a little of convergence. That does not mean everyone should aspire to be this or this or this. It's just to understand different individuals think differently, and that's how they solve. So, which is why one man's problem could be another man's glory. You never know. So, broadly and very simply put, gaps, you think, different ways of thinking, you get your ideas, and then you solve. Okay, now how do I get and how do I think? And that's where the brainstorming comes in. I mean, if we have a group of 40, 45 of us over here, kind of spending our time in the evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are, and then kind of wanting to be with Gunsu and her team and, speakers, so-called speakers like us, naturally it is going to help us, or we assume, or we have presumed, or we have realized that it is going to help solve something, some corner of your mind, some question. And even if one of them gets answered, then we all have done a wonderful job of having spent 2 hours of our lives or 1.5 hours of our life. Why? Some ideas come out. Is that the right one? Is that the one which is going to solve everything? We don't know. So we all have some, and questions can sometimes give you answers, not necessarily, the V speakers who are sharing whatever we have. Some of the questions can come out with some idea with you, which will kind of can become the solution to you. This is up to you with your lateral thinking. Of course, when you say brainstorm ideas, you're asking from people, you're knowing, you're learning, or you are kind of checking, whatever. Then you consider all these options with your form of thinking, whatever suits you. It could be critical thinking, it could be lateral thinking, whatever form of thinking you do. Then you consider each of these options. I see Brian over there. Welcome, Brian. I seeing you. Yep. Go ahead. So then you choose whatever option. This says choose one out of four or whatever. Choose one. I can choose two too. Why should I just choose one if I have the capability to kind of, if I know there are two methods which will help me to kind of reach a solution for the problem, I can take two too. Put it into action. The best part, or the most, I mean, it's nice, it's wonderful. We understand, we realize it's great. This looks beautiful. These slides mean a lot. This conversation means a lot. What was said is beautiful. This is exactly what I want to do. This is exactly what I'm going to do. And where we fumble, like in most of the projects in this world as a human civilization, projects most of the times fumble in implementation, isn't it? We have great thoughts as countries. When I'm saying projects, everything, it could be a UNESCO, it could be a WHO, it could be a government, it could be a NATO, whatever. Where they fumble eventually is in putting it into action, practice it. Your thought, brainstorming, let's not get over there, but politicians are good at brainstorming. Say, for example, they keep doing that all the while. And they keep tricking your brains to it eventually, but there is nothing, there is no options chosen, or there's nothing put into action. Now, after you put into action, review it. Did it solve the problem which I have? It's not the problem what others have or what others have told you that this is your problem. No, the problem is what you have perceived. Solves it? Wonderful. If it's not, review. Once again, go about identifying what's the gap or what's the problem. Think, listen to people, learn, get yourself more kind of informed, brainstorm it, then go back to the same cycle. As simple as this, and this is the same as I'll say is for an individual or a group of individual or for a professional or for an organization, still the same. Now, holistic problem solving. I mean, I always say this. I have solved one problem, kind of, I was overweight and I've reduced my weight by kind of 40 kgs. Wonderful. What did you do for it, and what method have you employed for it, and what is the kind of solution, or what is the way in which you did it? No, my problem was weight. I solved my weight, which is you have solved your physical problem. Probably you had messed up on your emotional problem because you didn't have the right diet, or you didn't do it in the proper way, or you didn't have the proper structured method to kind of follow it. So you did not give time for people at home or for your family. So your emotions are probably kind of got out of balance. Then you have not solved a problem. You could have solved a physical problem, but you have created another emotional problem inside.